We just got the,
All right, reminder of the microphones is,
call the meeting to order for the Park and Rec Commission, February 28th, 2024. Jill, can you do roll call, please?
yes, I can. Commissioner Lloyd Graycheck,
Here.
Commissioner Laura Greenlee Carp. Here. Commissioner David Andrews,
Here.
Commissioner Ben Hanson,
Here.
Commissioner Ingrid Kohler. Here. Commissioner Sue Springborn is absent, and Commissioner Sarah Zaradka is absent. And Cassidy, council member, is attending via Zoom.
Perfect, thank you. I'd like to take a moment of silence for the three officers, Paul Elmstrand, Matthew Ruge, and firefighter Adam Finseth from Burnsville, just as a show of respect. Thank you. Adopt, Ben, this is where you're in. Adopt the agenda. Need a motion.
Motion to adopt.
Ben makes a motion, second.
Second.
Dave seconds. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion to approve the minutes of November 15th.
I make a motion.
Laura makes a motion, second.
Second.
Go ahead, Ingrid.
Go ahead, Ingrid.
Ingrid makes a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Meeting, anybody, do we do Zoom anymore? Do we have anybody on Zoom anymore?
We do have somebody on Zoom.
Oh,
I think the audio room has to give them permission to talk if they have anything to say.
Is it Cassidy?
David Patton. I'll allow to talk. David, would you like to address the commission? Doesn't sound like yes. Maybe he's just watching. Okay.
if he happens to come on, we can jump in. Anybody else from the public
We have Bill Bryan and.
for Kathy?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, come on up. Were you gonna,
It's just so we can talk to you.
yeah, yeah. I'd just first like to say, my blessings go out to the family of Kathy. I worked with Kathy for, 15 years. She was very dedicated towards Southwood and the park system, and we're gonna miss her a lot. So I'd like to do some remembrance down at whatever you've got planned. Plus, we can get a plaque or something that we usually put up at the south end of by Holloway, if that's okay with the family.
Yes, and it sounds like the family has plans for a bench.
Yeah, a couple, I'm interacting with parts of her family, members of her family, and they're interested in putting some type of a memorial bench in the preserve, something that's consistent with the nature of the preserve.
Sure.
And I'm pretty sure that they're willing to fund that, so not to ask the city for funds. And I think it'll be something along, a bench with a name on it like we see, and done in a nice way. So I think that they're very interested in whether the city will allow that or not, and Jill and I have talked about that, and Laura too a little bit, so.
It's, yeah, that's a nice sentiment, I think.
I would tend to throw out that maybe the park commission can either throw in some or all, if we have funding for it, which we should have funding for. Yeah, so we can talk about that later in the meeting, but I think it'd be more appropriate. She worked diligently hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure
And-
the family would welcome if the
Yeah.
city wants to pick up part or all of that. I'm sure the city would, or Kathy would welcome that.
Jill, one of the funds would be able to cover that?
I think we'd have enough for that.
Okay.
Did you want to put that on the agenda for next month?
Yeah, let's do that. Yep.
And since we don't have to do a whole putting it out to bid or anything, because it's a
smaller cost, right?
I think you still would have to vote on it as a commission. But
But-
since it's just in the public, we have to put it on the agenda next month, so you guys can talk about it and make a motion.
Okay, and then the city would just make sure it was consistent with whatever standards we have? Okay,
Jill mentioned tonight that, I didn't realize it, but the benches along Seventh Avenue, for example, are something that the town puts in all the time. And that may be very consistent with what Kathy's family's thinking.
Sure.
Do we have to order and get whatever the family wants on it, like her name or whatever?
So what we're doing is the green benches that say North St. Paul, Snowman, and then we're doing plaques that go in the cement base.
Okay.
oh, okay.
Oh,
So are you talking the metal benches that we have that are coated? And those would have to have some kind of a footing to put that down. Would it be my understanding that the Public Works could do the cement
Yes.
for the footing to do? Because that could be part of our expense towards putting the bench in. Is there any kind of location that anyone's looked at placing it in Southwood?
Yeah, the last discussion I've had with the family, they were thinking of 2 or 3 different spots. I know one, she planted a tree with her granddaughters last September.
Okay,
She was thinking, or the family was thinking they might like to put the bench there. I'm not sure exactly where it is. But again, they're, in the spirit of Kathy, they don't want to go in and make some big statement in the preserve.
right.
They want it all to be very consistent.
she
Yeah.
may have I wonder if they could picture it out, because Kathy may still have the map that was gridded off that may be able to explain what section that the family was thinking about putting them in, putting it in.
Yeah, it sounds like that everybody's for it, and we have to do the official stuff, but I'll
Yeah.
go back with the family and do that, and we'll try to get a better idea of where, and just kind of see what the family's expectations are about paying for it.
Sure.
And then if, you've been communicating with the family, I take it?
Yeah, yeah.
Can you ask them if they'd be willing to come out and do a quick little ceremony dedication to if they're in,
I think that'd be fantastic sometime in the spring, so.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
put it in. No, I think they would really look forward to
the way the weather's going, spring would be Sunday, but
that.
right now, winter's here.
I'll tell you this, but her Celebration of Life service is Saturday morning, and our church building, which is looking like it's gonna be too small for the number of people who are coming, so we said, well, we'll just set up outside, because it's gonna be 65 degrees.
Right.
Now it's gonna be 55 degrees supposedly, so.
Can you list the time and the place?
I can get it to you
You-
if you,
Well,
Or do you want it on record?
I don't want it on
Meeting.
record. Yeah, at least states the public.
do you know off the top of your
You
head?
know where you go?
Yeah, it's at the Community of Christ Church on 2475 or 2745 Skillman, right
Okay.
on First Avenue.
Right.
And visitation will be from 10 to 11.
Okay,
The actual service is 11 to 12, and then there'll be a lunch afterwards from 12 to whenever.
perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Anything else? Please send a condolences to the family from us.
Yeah,
will
you know,
do.
I can't help but think, so Kathy had so much that she put in so much to Southwood, and she also had kind of like stored many things for Southwood as well. And so my husband and I have kind of inherited these things, which is another issue. But the thing that really touched me was that she has set aside a whole, like a brown paper bag full, just a stack of documents researching into Southwood, the plot, who used to live there, who donated the land for that. This was before the internet, and she had written to the Library of Congress and got documents in the mail. I mean, I just really admire not only the physical work that Kathy put into Southwood, but I mean, she put her whole heart and soul into it. So I'm really grateful for all of the support that you gave to her and in your mutual collaboration over the years. And I'm just really grateful for people like Kathy, and especially Kathy, So, yeah, just wanted to share that.
Yeah, I imagine she might have been, I can't remember how far back we turned that into a nature preserve, but 15 years ago? Yeah, and she was pretty instrumental in that too, with turning that into a nature preserve and leaving it as is.
Yeah. Lori and I both worked with her for a long time. I also was one of the founders for the task force that she was with, so I know Kathy quite well. So, yeah, and if there's any of those things you're not sure what to do with, you can reach out to me, and I can look over some of it, or if nothing else, help get some of that stuff maybe to the task force so they know
Yep.
what's going on. You know, Daryl's still on that and all that. So, and I live right on Southwood. So, yeah, so if you're not sure what to do with some of that, you can forward it to me, and I can go through it with some other people, and we can get into somebody who at least appreciate the work that she had done.
Yeah, our favorite weed was
Well,
Japanese knotweed.
Knotweed.
Knotweed, oh my gosh.
we don't have time to go into that.
That goes everywhere.
I should say Daryl sends his regrets. He
Oh.
wanted to be here tonight, he couldn't.
Sure.
Well, tell them thank you, and thank you, Task Force. And we look forward to working with you guys and keeping your spirit going.
Yeah, yeah, sounds good. Sounds very good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
All right. I'd like to officially welcome David Andren to the Park and Rec Commission for your second tour.
Thank you.
Yep. And Ben Hansen, welcome to the Park and Rec Commission. You'll have fun. Won't we, Ingrid? Won't we, Laura?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we want to take a minute? Do you guys want to tell us about yourselves?
Good idea. Go ahead, David.
Dan. Okay, well, I was on the Park Commission way back. I was on it for about 7.5 years. Been away from the Parks Commission for about 7.5 years. Recently retired from the school district. Some of the stuff I've done for the city is, like I said earlier, helped do the founding, one of the founding fathers, if you want to call it, for the task force over at Southwood. Also helped with the construction and stuff at our Veterans Park. Got to know a few of the people here quite well over the years. And now that I've been retired, and I've had a few citizens ask me what's going on with the Park Commission. I said, I don't know. I kind of withdrew from that for a while, but with as many people asking me all the time, I said, well, I might as well put my hat back in the ring, and so here I am.
Couldn't stay away.
Couldn't stay
Welcome
away.
back.
Thank you.
And you were very instrumental in the Vets Park.
Yes,
Thank you for all that.
thank you. You're no problem.
Ben?
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Welcome.
My wife and I, my wife is Natalie. We moved to North St. Paul in the fall of 2020. We lived on 15th, right off of 15th and Henry, right at the corner there. We now live over on Chisholm, near Casey Lake Park, so we sold, and we have 3 kids at home, so we needed a 4th bedroom.
Sure.
Well, we didn't need, but we wanted a 4th bedroom.
Helps.
3 little ones.
Yeah, it helps these days.
So we have a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and just turned 1 yesterday. So life at home is fun and busy. And yeah, I just wanted to get involved locally with the city and serve in any way I can. So happy to be here. I work in the housing industry in my day job. So the State Association of Realtors, I'm in communications for them. So
Good.
glad to be here.
Welcome. Glad to have you.
Thank you.
All right. No, public, he didn't get on, so we'll keep moving. Presentation 2024 PRC presentation. Brandy, thank you.
This is a repeat of last year, and it will be
Thank you very
Thanks
much.
for coming.
Thank you.
Look at that. This is since we've got some new commissioners on, figured it would be a appropriate time to just run through what is the commission and what is our goals and mission. And our Park and Recreation Commission is an advisory, they operate in an advisory capacity to the mayor and city council and to any other agencies in the community to sustain our parklands, preserves, and natural areas, and provide places for people to gather, play, and engage in activities that spark joy, promote health and well-being, and community environmental stewardship. In our city code, in chapter 32, the makeup of the Park and Recreation Commission is established. So per the city code, the Park and Recreation Commission shall make recommendations on the operation and use of our existing parks, review parkland dedications, park and recreation and trail component of our comprehensive plan, work on the park improvement plan, and review any park-related improvements in the capital improvement plan, which is something that we work on in the late fall. The official commissioner duties are to investigate matters within the scope of the Park and Recreation Commission or as directed by the city council. You can communicate views and advice of this commission. Staff can take those views and recommendations and communicate them to city council. The commission members are required to attend at least 6 meetings per year. 4 missed consecutive meetings is a sign of formal resignation. And it is expected and written in the city ordinance that an annual report is prepared by this group and shared with city council every year, as was done in January. Unofficial duties are being prepared for meetings, stay focused and high level. We're striving for short meetings, 1 hour, 1.5 max. Park planning, this is something we'll talk about in the next couple of agenda items, but one of the things that we can do is establish a subcommittee to work on park plans, which may be a recommendation that we'd move forward with. And right now, we've got a couple of park plans in the works. The ones that we have on the books are the Park and Recreation chapter within our comprehensive plan, the Park and Improvement Plan that was worked on in 2022 and approved that year by WSB, and then we were working on the Park and Open Space Master Plan now. And then, as you'll notice in the packet, there's a RFP for park design plans, which we'll talk about later. So if we do establish subcommittees, the intent of that is to have no more than 3 people on a subcommittee, and they can meet at a separate time to work on the details of specific projects, and then they would report back to the Park and Recreation Commission with the outcome and recommendations of those. The liaison is Cassidy Swear from City Council. She is a non-voting member of the Park Commission, and her job is to listen and report back to the City Council on our meeting activities and also serve as a sounding board to Park and Recreation Commission based on City Council agenda items, priorities and agenda items. Staff duty, our park liaison is in charge of preparing the agendas, minutes, and keeping records. She also assists with Park and Recreation Commission events and makes purchases if necessary. And my role is to assist with preparation of park plans and be the liaison for any consultant that we're contracting with. And that's it for what is Park and Rec 101. I can take any questions if you have any.
I'd like to thank you, I'd like to thank Jill, and I'd like to thank this commission for all their hard work in the past many years, especially trying to get the whole comprehensive plan, is that what we're calling it now, or the
Well, the comp
park
plan is the big city plan. The park improvement plan, I think, is what you're referring to.
That's what I'm going for, yep. So, thank you very much for all your hard work.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. We need to pick a chair, we need to pick a co-chair.
I make a motion to leave it as is.
You okay with that? Okay. So David makes a motion,
I'll second.
Ben seconds it. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right. I'll tell my wife. No. No, I just can't be city council, that's all. All right, we're rolling. Event update and commission input.
So,
Are we looking,
How do we do
are we
this?
looking at the document, this one? Yes. So, page 9, it says Autumn Arts Fest on the top. It's behind the blue, the last blue agenda. In the first packet, Ingrid. Yep.
Got it. Thank you. Thanks,
All right, we're
Laura.
all there.
so Carrie's been working on the art festival already, getting things booked and scheduled and kind of planned out. So she wanted to give you an update on where the schedule is, and then she had a few spots where she would like some ideas and recommendations. So the first section with the entertainment, those are booked and ready to go. The bingo, she's getting recommendations from Art and Culture for prizes, but if you have any ideas of what you would want for prizes for the Park and Rec side of it, like jump ropes or something activity-based, she'd like to hear from you for those.
I think that's a great idea. Like anything that'll get kids physically moving and playing. I think that's a great idea, like jump ropes or, I don't know what else is popular right now, but balls, jump ropes. I kind of like that. It's very old school.
Frisbees. Frisbees.
Frisbees?
These
Yeah.
Hula hoops.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's really
Yeah.
good back.
Well,
Doing the important work right now.
I know. Knock that out, you're good.
Told you you were gonna have.
I know, right? Yes. We're starting like,
Feel free to add anything.
into the heaviest stuff in a minute.
David already knows what to do.
Let's see, the community art project, that's more art and culture. The art card is theirs. Story walk, they picked the Snow in the Jungle, the art and culture ones did. I don't know.
can you repeat that?
So they're doing storyboards along the trail. And the book that they picked was The Snow in the Jungle. You're okay with that?
Yeah. Can you talk more about what that is? Are they following a path or following a story along the path?
Yep, and it's gonna just follow the book. So they'll take
I like it.
pages out of the book.
Okay.
So like every 200 feet, there's another board. So to finish the story, you finish
Yeah.
the path.
I think I've seen something like that at the Oakdale Nature Center.
Yes.
Randomly. Yeah. Okay.
Also, it's an actual book,
That sounds fun.
book. Or would they make, okay.
Instead of what?
Well, no, I thought maybe it was just they were coming up with this whole format.
Oh, no,
It's a
no.
book- they're
It'll
following
follow the book.
book
yeah.
format, okay.
Yep.
And maybe we can actually describe what the art festival is for Ben and David.
Yeah, so we wanted to put together a community event that took a good chunk of the day and also was a project between the Art and Culture Commission and the Parks Commission. So we decided we were going to come up with this Autumn Arts Festival. It took the place of what we formerly called the Trick or Treat Trail, which was around Casey Lake Park, and that just wasn't really fitting what we wanted it to be anymore. It also became a giant event that we weren't able to like handle
Manage.
the scope of anymore. So instead of trying to make that work, we pivoted and came up with a big event on purpose that we wanted to have a lot of people come to. So last year was our second year. It was drastically different than our first. Last year was very successful. And so we're gonna try and recreate that for the most part. And there's performances, there is a vendor setup of artists selling their goods. There is community engagement projects, community art, and it's just and food trucks. And so it's just supposed to be like a big community event with an art focus. Did I miss anything?
No.
Okay. Yep.
So then the next section, Carrie is doing kind of a nonprofit area where she's looking for businesses or groups that would showcase art and culture or park and rec. So I'm thinking like kid activities where they'd have a booth and then the public would be able to talk to them and they'd be able to just get information on recreation
So,
activities.
so example could be school district, early childhood, some sort of small craft activity, but also you walk away with early childhood information? Okay.
So if you have any recommendations for her, you can email those to Carrie also. She's looking for anybody to just have a booth that would provide information on that.
Clarifying question, do those emails go directly to Carrie, or is there like a general email address?
Send them directly to Carrie.
Okay, perfect.
She did get a face painter and balloon artist. They're gonna be there. There's 4 people. She's thinking this might be a volunteer opportunity to manage lines and people in general. And then we get to pick out the inflatable. So the options are on the second page, or third page. She's going a different direction, so it's gonna come all-inclusive. The company sets it up, they manage it, they take it down, they're insured, they're bonded, so the city doesn't have any part of it.
So that takes care of all the concerns from last year? Okay.
Yeah. So
Where did you, oh, it's,
page 12 will have the options that she has on there.
I think we should do the dinosaur.
I like the dinosaur.
I know,
I kind of like the giant slide obstacle course, because there's a slide. I don't know, that's fun.
Okay, I like that too. But if you look down the Lost Jungle obstacle course, that would also tie into our Snow in the Jungle story walk.
Yes.
yes.
And it would have slides on there and, I don't know, looks
Yeah.
like some other fun stuff.
Yeah, I like it. Are we concerned about price? There is quite a difference between some of these.
No, I kind of like that Lost Jungle one. It's got quite a few activities to it.
Well, I'm
I
seeing now
can
there's
see.
3 options. So let's clarify which ones we're talking about. So the whole bottom row, except for the Wacky Maze, is the Lost Jungle.
Oh, I see.
I just noticed that too.
Oh.
I was only looking at the
Oh,
third one in.
That's the one I was looking at.
Oh, there we go. Maybe that's the one we should do.
That's exactly what my eyes went to.
It's just all coming together.
Oh,
I wonder if the far left is a combination, because then the next 2 are, they say alligator slide and snake slide only.
yeah, it looks like they're together,
Oh,
right?
yes.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Reason for the higher price.
makes sense. Can we afford to do both?
Well, I think if you do the Lost Jungle obstacle course, I think you get the 2 together.
No, I know, but can we afford the 850 plus?
Yeah, she wouldn't put it on there unless it's,
Heck yeah, let's do it.
let's do it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not the only one who makes that decision, so.
You vote?
I make a motion for the giant Lost Jungle obstacle course, both slides together.
I'll second that amount.
There we go.
Discussion.
Well, I'm looking at, so the one that we're looking at, the one for 850, just, I need a little clarification here.
We're
Is
less than
that,
what I said.
is that combining both the second and third one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is.
Yeah.
Okay, and then do we know roughly, when they say the $75 an hour, what does that entail? Is that the entire time that they're there, or?
I would need to get clarification on that, but that's how I'm reading it too. There's an 850.
So it's $850
$75.
just for the rental, and then we're paying $75. Is it for them to set up and tear down, or is it for the the entire time that we have it?
I think it's supervision too, because Jill mentioned that they have people who would be there watching and managing the lines.
Okay,
So I'd imagine it's setup, takedown, and supervision.
so this could run an additional $300 to $400, correct?
Yeah, let's see
Above
how
the
big
850?
Well, and
Or-
do we want it for the full time or maybe a 4-hour period, right?
I
At
think
the
we've
peak,
got
or?
funding in our, to cover this, wouldn't we?
So max, it would be 7 hours times 75, which I don't know how to do that math mentally.
7 times.
7 hours, 75?
600, 750? 800,
6
All right.
hours is 450.
450.
Okay, so 5.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
525.
I feel like we do it.
The whole time, you mean? Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to make a motion on
Any more discussion?
Do we want to make a motion to set a price or just kind of whatever it is, because we, at this point, we wouldn't know.
How is this funding through?
And we can leave that up to Carrie too. She's got her budget.
Okay,
Okay,
She'll make it work.
cool.
based on
Yeah.
the park commission, park funding and the,
It's, yeah, the event budget is set, so she's working within those parameters.
because we could take this out of the park fund, right?
No,
It's not in the park fund. It's completely different.
Okay, got it. All right, any other discussion?
No, so at this point, it's just a recommendation for that particular one.
yep.
Okay, any other discussion? All, in you want to read it? Want to read it? Go ahead.
I make a motion to recommend the Lost Jungle obstacle course for $850 and then the additional $75 an hour for the Autumn Arts Festival.
Ingrid, are you okay with the change?
Yes, I second that motion.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Boom. All right. We're down to park.
Hold on, we skipped the food trucks piece.
Okay,
She's open to recommendations, but she has the list that she's working off of.
She is kind of waiting for the car show list to come in to see who's on there. But yeah, anybody, if you know of a food truck that's you like, send it her way. She's
Okay.
trying to get a diverse bunch there.
I feel like there was a really good mix last year. I think we had 4 trucks.
It's
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, I feel like it was a good mix, and
and
yeah,
so the budget for the festival is 6,000. She has pretty much the entertainment booked, face paint. She's got a few more things in there. But she's making that work. Her one question is, right now, she had $1,500 for the food truck night, but we're not, it wasn't kind of hitting the mark, and we have food trucks pretty much at all of our events. So she was going to transfer that to the inflatable.
yep, that was, I believe, what we talked about, so.
And the next, she's still kind of reaching out to different artists. So these were just kind of examples of like who she's been talking to for maybe next year. She just wanted to put those in there. And then other things that she looked into, she put the prices in there just to show you that where she's spending her money is in the budget. So under the considerations, they're gonna do the chairs, couple tents, but really the stage just ate too much of the budget, so she didn't.
you're gonna need help from commission members?
Yeah, so the face painting and balloon artists should see that she'll probably need volunteers there. And then they are doing some mobility scooters. So anybody that would like to volunteer there to help with anybody that's having mobility assistance, we'd need them there too.
Perfect.
Did we, for first aid, we had the fire department there last year? Is that-
They were there for a little while.
Okay.
But I don't know if we have actually somebody there the whole time for first aid.
When we were at the St. Pete's Art Festival, there was somebody who fell and smashed their face in a very scary way. And it made me think that we didn't have first aid at our event. I didn't know if we needed to have it all the time or if we would just call 911. But that was one thing I thought of.
Okay. Okay. And then the other thing she's looking into is Housie Park. We're hoping to have a grand opening. So what does that look like? She's thinking the movie and the park would be a great time to do that at Housie for a grand opening, maybe like an ice cream social. If you want, she was kind of looking for recommendations there also.
Is that written down anywhere?
No,
Okay.
she just gave me that.
I just had an idea when you were talking about housing and movies. It'd be kind of fun to mix up I'm assuming there would be a food cart or two there. It would kind of be fun to have popcorn. Is there such a thing as an old-fashioned popcorn wagon anymore? And that would be kind of a really, or maybe a food truck that serves popcorn. And then ice cream. I just, maybe, not a meal, not necessarily a meal, but just fun, desserty, movie-type food.
Do you dare do cotton candy?
Oh, I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
because we rented it for the egg hunt. I mean, it worked pretty good,
Yeah.
but something to think about.
Rent the big popcorn machines?
I don't know.
I can check at Haney's.
Well, yeah, maybe we can
I
man
don't
it.
know how user-friendly it is. Can't say I've done any research on that. But I also know that there's a family who sells kettle corn that they make at the St. Paul Farmers Market. I don't know what their name is, but I could try and find it. And they do the old school,
Popcorn as well.
yeah, like what you're talking about.
Yeah, I just think that'd be kind
Yeah.
of fun.
So, but you're thinking just handing it out to children and stuff that are there without an expense, right?
Oh, I wasn't actually. I was thinking food truck, so that usually is an exchange of money for it. But
Well, I was
I don't
thinking
know.
of
But maybe
popcorn.
the popcorn, if the city owns a popcorn wagon and we have volunteers manning it, and we get the go-ahead to serve it. I mean, is it okay for us to serve it? That would be fun to have free popcorn. That would be kind of nice. wouldn't it?
Well, I don't think it would cost that much through Haney. I could check with Haney Rental and see what they get for popcorn machine. And then, popcorn itself doesn't cost much.
Yeah.
A bag of popcorn is probably, a big bag is probably like $20-25, so.
Laura, were you saying the city has a popcorn wagon?
I don't know if they do. I don't think so. I didn't know if it was possible to rent it.
Okay.
The other thought I had was the movie theater. You can purchase literal garbage bags full of movie theater popcorn for cheap,
Oh.
usually at Marcus over in Oakdale.
Oh.
So if this ends up being I don't know, you need to be very adept at operating a popcorn machine.
Yeah, I
If you
don't
have
think
that
it's that hard.
experience, we can always look into that too.
And it's something, if we were to go that route, and I could get something from Haney fairly reasonable, that's something I could myself sit and man and.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I love that idea. That's good.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel it, doesn't our, there's the smoothie place that's at the car show, that food truck. They don't do ice cream though, right? Do you know what I'm talking about? Not a food truck, it's the table.
Oh,
Smoothies.
I heart smoothies.
I thought we had a popcorn popper.
Can we find out if we have a popcorn popper hidden in the bowels?
I think there might be one in the training room, right?
Oh, yeah, we have that in the training room.
Do we?
Oh,
So that is an option. I'm looking at Haney, and also, that's only $67 rental for 3 days.
No brainer.
That's excellent information.
you didn't know you were gonna be there for 3 days, did you, David?
well,
Since you
see,
volunteered.
I have a real close friend that works for Haney, so I can get things
You can get a discount.
Cheaper.
Well,
Nice.
you shouldn't say that on public access.
Being you're going this route.
Yeah.
But even for that,
Okay, well, that seems like maybe a really
John
good
Haney
investment.
rental.
So pending like how it is powered and all of that stuff.
and Brandy, you said you went to their site just now, it was, so I don't think that's kind of like a no-brainer. So,
I want to go rent a popcorn machine. right
And
now, just for fun.
I don't mind the idea of a popcorn, a paid-for popcorn wagon as well. If you want kettle corn, or if you want the fancy stuff, you can maybe go buy it over there at the wagon, but here's the free stuff, and that's delicious too. So then it kind of meets everybody's needs.
Great idea.
Okay.
All right, so popcorn
Popcorn it
at
is.
housing
And ice cream.
and ice cream.
When is the opening scheduled for? Is there a date yet?
It's the grand opening of the court.
We just had the bid opening this week, and that will be reviewed at City Council and approved at their next meeting, which isn't until March 19th, and I do not have a construction schedule yet.
Man, they could
Typically, the
Cruising.
first night was July at Housing Park, so that's what we're kind of aiming for, mid to late.
it wouldn't be the
if it's
first time.
So we've got some time to figure out the
Yeah.
equipment rental.
All right, Jill, anything else on that?
September 19th is the parade, mark your calendars.
Okay. Will do.
That is always fun.
Yep, and I get all the fun stuff.
On the 19th?
The parade.
Oh, great.
We get a city truck.
What's it called? Rosie, Daisy, what's the parade called? Fall
What'd they call it? These-
Roundup?
Roundup. Yep. Oh, Roundup. Yeah. Then we just, we got the pickup truck, and then we just put the little flashing lights on, and we're ready to go. All right, anything else on that, Jill?
I am done.
Everybody else good on that? Okay.
Jill, let us do the fun stuff before we have to do the hard stuff. Is that right? You let us do the fun stuff before you have to do the hard stuff?
Oh, you want to jump to D?
No. No. Park and open space?
That's the fun stuff.
The calendar?
No, the calendar's the fun stuff. All right.
This is really just an update for you all. So in your packet is, I believe, the first 3 chapters of the Park and Open Space Master Plan. I don't know if anybody has had a chance to take a look at that in detail. If so, I'm happy to go through any of your comments. I was thinking prior to this meeting that it might be useful for us to have more of at a future time, a subcommittee meeting to go through it as, in a more detailed fashion, to kind of comb through it and make sure that you agree with recommendations, how things are worded, make sure that the facts that I have in here are correct from your background knowledge. I am pulling from a lot of different sources to try to create the inventory lists and to the best of my ability to establish the schedule in terms of improvements when they're needed over the course of the lifetime of certain facilities. So at this point in the planning process, we've kind of completed the first phase, which is we did the demographic analysis, we gathered the existing conditions and created a system inventory, and we completed some outreach last summer. And at this point in time, I am now moving forward with developing a analysis of what do we need in this system based on our earlier park improvement plan recommendations, plus the findings of the community outreach and the demographic analysis. And so over the next month or so, I'm going to be working on putting that together in another chapter. And then after that, it'll be re-reviewing the goals from the park improvement plan, pulling that forward and making sure that we are still in agreement with how those align with where we are now, 2 years down the road. And then from there, that's when we kind of jump into the how do we plan for implementing this in future capital improvement plans.
You can put me on it. If you're make a subcommittee, is what you're doing?
I think it would be worthwhile to have a subcommittee. So Lloyd is volunteering, so I
We can
would,
have two more, I believe, because otherwise
quorum, yeah.
we have a quorum, so we got two more. If we-
I'll be on that.
Okay,
Okay.
anybody else?
I'm happy to sit on it.
There's three.
Okay.
Thanks.
Well, we can touch base offline on when to schedule that. So I'll reach out on that. I'm happy to take any comments or questions about what you were provided in the packet.
This one's not included in
Yeah,
it was in the packet that was attached.
Oh,
yeah.
I do have,
Right.
I don't know if there's anything you want to show me.
Not really. I think in the first chapter, actually, I think all of these chapters were included in the last park meeting that we had back in November. And the final chapter, chapter 3 that you have in here, was not fully completed. So at this point in time, I have had the chance to get it probably at this point 80%. And I think now I've been working on it since that chapter is about 95 to 100%, and then I have another chapter after that. So there's going to be more material to look at when we have that steering committee meeting.
Okay, yeah, you sent this in our email
Yeah.
earlier, and I only kind of glanced at it a little bit prior to the meeting, so, yeah, I would need a little bit more time myself to
Sure.
go through it, to examine it a little bit closer.
Yep.
And this is nothing different than what we've done in the past. We've had a couple of these plans over the years, so,
Yes.
so, yeah.
Yes.
all right.
Perfect.
We just discuss it at the subcommittee meeting?
Yeah, I
In the
think-
interest of time of this meeting?
I think that would be good. It seems like a better forum to kind of focus that meeting on the one topic and do a deep dive into it.
Yeah, because that's kind of what our objective's been, is subcommittee it and then come back, and then we don't have to spend a lot of, make these meetings go too long.
Can I ask one question?
Sure.
Sure.
In the demographic analysis that you did for this, did you in this compare where it was to the previous plan? Do you know what I'm saying? Like where our so when was the last time we did like, a
Demographics.
demographic assessment?
I don't know that it was if it wasn't part of your park improvement plan
No, it
for
was not.
2022. And I don't know if it was specifically discussed as part of your comprehensive plan, but that's typically demographics are included in there.
Okay. I can.
I pulled this information, so the comp plan would have pulled any information regarding demographics from the census, and so I used the most recent census numbers, so I think that the trend lines are probably adequate for what's in here.
Okay, awesome. I haven't had enough time to look
Sure.
through this. I just was interested to see the difference in demographics and how they've changed.
Yeah, I think you will find that because we have had a significant shift in the past 10 years.
And then I know that you were also asking for community input or like a community needs assessment. Is that a part of this as well?
To the best of the ability that we could do from a staff level, excuse me. We completed the outreach via the online survey. And so that gave us some insight into what the community thinks about what's missing or what they enjoy about the park system. And then we have the existing conditions of what we have. So I think from that, we have enough information to gain a good enough understanding of where the gaps are. And so I think for this particular document, we're just going to kind of use that park improvement plan that was done by the professionals in 2022 and just really build upon those recommendations and just get a plan that seems to have a more solid foundation and what the community wants, and then what our changing demographics are, and just updated it for the 2024. We can look at it again, every year, every 2 years after it's been approved. But from this, really these next design plans are what will be the driving factor behind any future park improvements. So that's the next agenda.
Driven by what some of what the community has said, hey, we want this,
Yep.
plus where the gaps are of what we already have. I just want to make sure I'm understanding like the foundation that's guiding the decisions that are being made for what we're doing within our parks. I know that's some of the planning that we've already done.
Well, a little bit, yeah. So how I see it is, we're kind of jumping into the next topic, so.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. I think it all really ties together. I'm just trying to get back to the agenda and see how far off we're going.
I can wait
No.
until that point.
No, it's okay. So in the next item in the agenda, if you're okay with us kind of jumping around.
Oh, can we get this to Dave and Ben? Is this something we still need to keep? This is the,
Oh, I think Ben has been provided with all of the documents that are relevant to this group via email by Jill, yeah. So he should have that and the comp plan,
perfect.
yep.
I'll make sure they were taken care of, and I'm sure they were.
So back to your question, I think what you're asking is, how does this planning process transition into action and new equipment basically at parks?
Yep.
Okay, so this is kind of like our broad policy document that's telling us, here's how we want to focus on making park improvements in the future. Here's how we want to determine where the priorities lie when we get to that point where we're doing our budget discussions and making recommendations in the face of other city budget and, needs. So that's what this is intended to do, to give us the broad goals, priorities, policies, how we want our park system to look, how we want to accommodate all of our users. Then the next step will be kind of this park design planning process. So that's what the RFP is in your packet. So we've got several documents, the comp plan, we've got the redevelopment master plan, and then we have that park improvement plan that all have recommendations related to the park system. And so my job is to take all of those recommendations and keep track of them and make sure that they're not forgotten about and that they end up eventually getting taken care of. So in that park improvement plan, one of the top priorities was McKnight, because there's some facilities there that are basically, you can't even use them anymore. The tennis courts are basically defunct. And some other things that need to be maybe replaced, or there's additional land that maybe could be transitioned from what its current use is into some future use. So that's item one. The second is we've got a lot of new residents in the downtown. The redevelopment master plan specifically talked about land that the city owns that's across the street from the Gateway Townhomes and M&I Homes on 3rd Avenue or 3rd Street. And so that recommendation, or that plan recommended that those city-owned parcels be improved into a passive open space. So think something that you could walk your dog through. Minimally developed, but something that would be a public area for people to go hang out. And then the third recommendation is for a downtown park. And that park improvement plan specifically listed that site that is located on 7th Avenue and North St. Paul Drive. It's right across the street from Reflex Medical. And so it didn't have any specific recommendations for the type of improvements, but just kind of some broad ideas about maybe some public art could fit in here, maybe some but like a platform for a band to play. So what we have in our RFP is I gave them the background. These are all the parks that we want to have a design plan built for. And these are our objectives. And so what we're looking for is a proposal that's going to give us kind of a 3-phased process. So the first phase would be conceptual design, where they would go interact with the public and do some of those outreach activities that are specific to those 3 sites and figure out really what do you want North St. Paul community for these locations. Then they'll develop just a conceptual drawing about where we're going to put equipment, what kind of equipment. And from there, we would run into phase 2, which is going to be the actual construction drawings. So we've got 2 new members here that weren't part of the Housing Park, but the rest of you saw the plans that WSB put together that are, black and white schematic that basically are the engineering drawings for how to build the thing. And then we'll then take that information and put it in the CIP to make sure that we have some money to build it. So in reality, I'm thinking that our construction for anything McKnight or these other two parks is going to be 2026. But we're doing the planning this year, the concept planning this year, and the design planning hopefully next year.
Okay, and all of that is nicely outlined in this document, request for proposals.
Correct. Yep.
More specifics and pictures of the areas that you're talking about.
Yep.
Okay.
So the proposals are due to the city on March 15th. And I've had numerous calls. There's a lot of interest in this from a variety of companies that I have never even heard of before. So this is exciting. We're going to get a lot of interest. And this is another opportunity for steering committee to help select the consultant. So this is probably going to be a matter of one meeting to pull the people together to make a recommendation.
Okay.
I have a
Do I
question.
have any volunteers?
I have a question.
I would.
There's two.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead and,
We got three?
Let's ask, or let Ingrid ask her question first.
okay. I have a question. Has there been any outreach to the residents in the, all these new residents in these new buildings all along, in all the new buildings? Has there been any sort of outreach in terms of a survey saying, we're, because Sarah has really reminded us a lot that we need to provide green space and there aren't a lot of parks kind of by them. And I'm just wondering, is there a way to reach out and find out or have an open house that they're aware of?
That is all part of our request for proposals from the consultant.
Okay.
So we're relying on them to present to us their outreach plan for
Okay.
this project, and they would be conducting those. We would all be involved to whatever extent the Park and Recreation Commission wants to participate in those outreach events. But that is imperative to this
Great.
park planning
Okay.
process.
Has city council been made aware of the timeline of these projects?
I think I did have it in a council packet at one point.
I just wanted to make sure, because it's important to them that we're moving forward. And so, but also moving forward with purpose and making sure we're making informed decisions. So
Yep.
making sure that they are aware that this is all part of that process.
Yep, I believe they're aware, and I believe that Brian Brandel, the city manager, does communicate my communications with him about our activities. So I think that it should be in the works out there.
Question, two-part. The land next to one of the establishments on 17th, close to Charles and close to Sandberg, is that ours? It's like a parking lot now.
I'm sorry, where are we talking about?
Right across
On 17th?
17th, no, not 17th, I'm sorry, 7th, thank you.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Is it where we have the city truck for the
Is that
car
ours?
show? No, that's owned by Tracy Luther.
How about the land on Charles and 7th? There's a little spot on the north.
Oh, I thought that's what we were talking about.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. No,
Are
I,
you talking about where they put the
parking lot, the
the
parking-
old gas station?
no, not that far down. I'm talking about the one like Sidewinders.
Oh, the city does own that.
Okay,
That's a parking lot.
But they're turning that into green space.
Nope,
They're not turning it into.
let's put a pin in that and talk about that at a future time.
Sounds great.
okay. How
Okay,
about the,
copy that.
okay, so, Luther owns that Charles and 7th one?
Correct, yep.
Got it. That,
And the city does own the one next to Sidewinders. That went back and forth. The EDA had some
okay,
desire to put some sort of temporary green space there to serve some of this, to make it look better, to sort of invite development to occur. There was some discourse between EDA and the city council, and it was ultimately decided to just do nothing at this point in time other than get an appraisal. So I don't have any activity at this point.
okay.
And it's really unclear from my perspective what our long-range goal is. That's why I always kind of refer back to our plans. If we refer to the redevelopment master plan, it specifically pulls that site out and suggests that it could be a connecting piece to 7th Avenue or downtown Main Street to Sepulveda, which is behind it. And there is a goal within that document to make Sepulveda kind of a living street. a little bit more of a little bit more of like the back door of Main Street. So I think that there is some more discussion and planning that could be had with council.
Perfect.
Well, I just want to say, I know this is your job, but clearly you're very good at it.
Thank you.
And like the thought, effort, clarity, systematic, like linear way that you put all of this together is super impressive. And I am extremely grateful to have you here helping us with this, because this feels tangible and doable, and when it hasn't previously. So thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm looking forward to this consultant coming in because I've gotten a lot of great inquiries and I have high hopes for what we're going to get.
So now you needed,
Oh, yep, I need some
Volunteers.
volunteers for my steering committee to select our consultant.
unless anybody else,
I'll be on that.
Okay.
I feel like Sarah would want to be on that too.
Yes, I do too.
well, we can only, okay. We can only have,
So, okay, let me write down that first. So Ben, Lloyd,
Ben and Lloyd and Dave.
and Dave.
So would you all possibly consider choosing between the two? So we can
Is
open
this
up
the
a
big, is
space?
this, yeah, we could do that.
Because I feel like
I think
yeah.
Sarah,
I get it, saying
Yeah.
Sarah will really want to be a part of that,
she will definitely want to be a part of that.
What's the bigger piece, the one we just did,
the first one.
the first one?
Yep, the park
Let's stay on
plan.
the first one and really, draw back from the second one so we can get Sarah or somebody else in there, since we got all these great volunteers.
Okay, so the consultant steering committee is Sarah, Laura, and who's the third?
I'll be the third.
And Dave, okay. Okay, I'll get in touch with you to set something up.
Perfect, good point, thank you, Laura. All right, anything else on that? We good, Brandy? A and B?
Yep, unless you have any questions for me on those.
Park rental policy.
Okay, so that is, if you'll recall, sometime back in the fall, you looked at the park policy and made a recommendation to make some changes to it. And those changes included adding some prohibitions to what people could have in the park rental facility, and that included water balloons, glitter, confetti, glass containers, making it clear that smoking is prohibited in park buildings and anywhere in the park. Create a $150 deposit for events that have alcohol, and clarify that the key code, it's required for entry, and then if you're going to ask for that code after hours, then you have to pay an after hours fee. So those were all accepted and included in the approved park policy update. And then here, Jill, instead of that, I've got, because you're probably going to ask about what are the fees, and I have them sort of together. Just threw this together. Oh, I have to move it. No.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are the rates. So the city council this came up during the review of the fee schedule and not the park policy. And so in their review of the fee schedule, they had a fairly lengthy conversation that they wanted to do some review and make changes to the fees to make sure that we were covering all of our bases in terms of what they were making enough to cover the cost of the facility, but also be in line with other communities. And so they wanted to raise the rates a little bit. And so on the screen, I have the 2023 rates compared to the 2024 approved rates. And so that's been in effect since January 1st.
Is there any way you could either Zoom or read it to me, because I cannot see it?
That's better.
Is it not showing up down here?
The switcher is
Oh, our
broken.
switcher.
Dang it. Yep, so for Casey Lake, we'll do weekend rates, because that's basically the big deal. So Casey Lake used to cost $300 as a resident to rent, and now the new rate is $400. For Housie Park, a resident was $150 for the weekend, and now it's $200 for the weekend. Non-residents for Casey are going to pay 400, or sorry, they did pay 400, and now those rates have increased to 500 for the weekend. And then non-resident rates for Housie was 200, and now it's 275.
And this has already been decided.
Yep.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Okay.
Yep, it's in your packet if you need to take a closer look at it. So any questions about the,
Do people rent? Do people rent for the entire weekend? I wasn't really aware of that.
oh, no, it's not for the weekends.
Oh,
If
I
you
see.
rent,
Weekday versus weekend day.
Rates, yep.
Got it. Okay.
So are they also raising the deposit values?
They're
On
right
that?
on there. Same, looks
I
like.
use your glasses.
Oh, yeah.
they are the same with the exception that the weekend, it dropped for weekend for resident.
Yeah.
Okay.
We did include an alcohol deposit,
Correct.
which is $150. People have to self-declare that, and then it charges an extra $150.
Okay. Because looking at part of this, when I was looking at some of the damages and stuff, do we know what kind of damages are being done to our facilities? Other than maybe blood or something where the bio cleanup would be, or,
That was, I think, related to too much alcohol.
so it's more bodily fluids cleanup. So we're not having people actually punching walls or breaking mirrors or,
No, I think that the level of, I'm trying to find the memo that I had. It's been a while since I took a look at that. I think that there is a lot more discussion about how much damage has occurred than what's actually occurred. So kind of gets discussed more than it's inflated, we'll say. But some of the damage might be pretty nominal, like the wrong kind of adhesive being used to the wall might pull some of the paint off, or maybe just too much glitter, which now is prohibited. Do you recall any other things that Ron may have said?
So like appliques that they just can't get off the floor. So our cleaning people have to spend a lot more time taking those out. A lot of them are just, people just can't get out on time because they're partying too long.
Right.
That's the
So
problem.
We keep the deposit because a lot of times people will be there 11:30, they just won't leave, so we have to call the cops. So that's a lot of our deposits are kept
Yeah.
for that.
okay.
Do you keep a record of that, so next time maybe we're not gonna rent to them?
Yes.
Good.
Okay.
Thank you for the update.
You're welcome.
All right.
And if there's any concern, Casey is already booked all the way through September for
Good.
most of Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Very popular.
Park and Rec calendar. I'd just like to footnote, anybody, Dave and Ben, anything that interests you, you could get a hold of us or get a hold of Jill, and she could fill you in on what that is if you want to volunteer for it. And we're always taking helpful people, especially like, I'm gonna pitch Star Watch, so, and you've got kids, so.
Well, and also to be clear, the events are probably gonna look a little bit different this year. They all need to go through Carrie, and there's a form that you fill out suggesting your event, which I believe you all have, but it's gonna be a little more systematized. Is that an actual word? I don't know.
Yeah.
Than it has been where we've previously just been like, hey, this would be awesome, let's do it. So, just to clarify that.
Thank you. So, you wanna run through them, Jill, real quick?
So through May, we just have the meetings. Dave did submit like a park cleanup. Carrie is planning on putting that somewhere in there. She's just waiting to see what the weather is like, usually around Earth Day, so end of April.
Is that something that we could make a memorial event for Kathy? Like, can we name it?
Well, we always, even before Kathy, we've always, back when I was on the commission before, we always had, usually the last weekend in April is park cleanup. It kind of coincided with also Maplewood, Oakdale, they all did about the same thing, so,
I know, I'm not saying that it was Kathy's idea, but that was a huge part of what Kathy advocated for and one of the events that she took ownership on. And so,
but we all did. I don't want to kind of
Okay.
sound like we're not honoring Kathy, but there were a lot of people. Matter of fact, back when I was still on here, we partnered up with the track team at North High, and they actually started taking over providing, after the cleanup, hot dogs for anyone who participated.
yeah, but they don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I was surprised that we weren't doing that anymore, so it was part of this commission that ceased to happen, and
That was a partnership that Keith worked really closely with, and then post-COVID, or kind of pre-COVID, when Keith left, and then post-COVID, it just didn't, it didn't it didn't happen.
Laura,
that was something we did every year, was
Okay.
every.
And I definitely hear that, and I hear that other people helped to start it, but I also think, like, Kathy is a huge part of all of this work, and the bench is important, like, the bench is important also, but I wanted to put it out there, like, that it could be an annual thing where we honor the work that she's done and the stewardship of the land.
yeah.
But then we should also honor, I hate to kind of rain on the parade, people like Dave Nelson, who's put tons and tons and tons of hours in, also at the park. Brooke, who's also one of our firefighters, spent tons and tons of time on some of that. There was a lot more of our citizens who put in quite a bit of stuff with the park cleanup, and there's more than just Southwood that happened. So, I mean, I would just like to leave it as park cleanup, not attaching any memorial to it.
Why don't,
May I?
go ahead, Ingrid.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Dave, only in that Kathy's efforts were so targeted and so amazingly devoted to Southwood. And I'm not saying she didn't work on other park cleanup areas, but her efforts were so devoted to Southwood. And I know that there's a very dedicated group up in my neighborhood that works on the Silver Lake Park cleanup. You know, the Lake Association is always, they're out there in their canoes picking up things out of the water. And so I think, I love, you know, I'm incredibly inspired by Kathy and what she did and her amazing efforts over all those years. But I think it's to
Memorial.
memorialize the whole park system with her name might be a little too broad in that. But I love the idea of an annual way to remember her at Southwood, or a way to acknowledge her.
Then we'll
Do an annual
we'll work with the family then, see what the family wants to do.
Yeah, that might be a good idea, just to check in with the family.
Anything else on that, as I'm looking at the time? Okay.
I do have one thing about that. Speaking of the Lake Association, sometimes they kind of do their own thing. It used to be coordinated that the park cleanup day was the same as the Lake Association park cleanup day. And the past couple of years, I've been surprised to see, you know, I'll show up for like the city park cleanup, but then a week later or 2 weeks later, there might be a sign, hey, park cleanup. So can we make sure to coordinate with their efforts?
Are you talking about?
Silver Lake, yeah, Silver Lake.
I honestly don't know how the cleanup efforts are.
It kind of fell by the
Coordinated.
wayside after. when
Should
COVID
I
came.
look into this? 'Cause
Yeah.
I could call two of the people that are very, very active in that. I'll make some phone calls and,
Does the city have a cleanup event?
We did.
We used to.
I see, okay.
And what we would do is, certain park commissioners would go to, say, Polar Park or whatever, Northwood or whatever, and they would hand out trash bags and stuff. And then usually young adults with their kids would come out, they would pick up trash and stuff, put it in the bags. We would have a designated area for where the trash bags would go. And then usually on Monday, was usually the next day. And Keith used to be a big part of that is he would send the crew out to pick up to all the parks and pick up all those bags. And then it was a done deal. We've had certain individuals and myself would actually go out in certain parks and rake up like pine needles and pine cones and stuff like that. So it was, all the parks were being cleaned up by pretty much everyone in the park. And there would be like a few commissioners, not all the commissioners, but we used to have a bigger commission at that time, would be there. It's just, if there was any questions or any promotions, we had something coming up, we would talk to the families and stuff. I know I oversaw probably 4 parks back in the day, making sure that, you know, bags were put in the proper place, or if there was like one bag, I'd throw them in the back of my truck and take them all to one spot. And usually tell Keith that, hey, I got 4 parks sitting at, say, Housie, waiting to be picked up. So, but it was a whole community involvement. It wasn't, you know, some parks didn't have anybody show up. But
I think that what you're saying is something that sounds like a great opportunity for the Park and Rec Commission. It'll probably have to be the wheel reinvented because our staff at the City Hall is much different than it was back when you were on the Park and Rec Commission, because I'm not sure who Keith is, but I think he was the person that was like the dedicated
he was in
park
Public
person.
Works.
Okay.
What's,
And Lloyd probably remembers that.
I'm gonna interrupt you, Dave. Yeah, I think we need to move on with this one, and
We can add it as an agenda item for
Yeah.
next month.
let's do that. Let's do that. Keep going, Jill.
So in the calendar, I think is the last insert in your folders there. It just lists out what we have planned so far this summer. She did get the bands booked for Music in the Park. She reached out social media, got some,
New ones.
all new ones.
Okay, awesome.
wait,
She kept the Bazillions, and we actually moved them down to August because they're an earlier show, which we thought would work better for kids.
yeah.
So these were kind of suggestions. She was getting feedback from the community, and she's got those booked. Star Watch is booked for October 2nd, and the Art Fest is the September 14th weekend. Food truck, you can kind of ignore that one, but we'll see where the grand opening fits in there.
Okay.
So that's what we got.
Is the city doing a citywide garage sale this
They are.
spring?
There.
And when does that happen?
Was it before or after the cleanup?
I think I saw it was May 2nd
May 2nd.
to 4th, if I'm
Okay.
not mistaken.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
The only reason I ask is I wondered if maybe we would want to do some sort of like, not a garage sale in the park, but like swing by a park for blah activity while you're out and about. I can email Carrie directly about that.
Okay, perfect.
Any other questions on the calendar? As I said, you can talk to Jill, Dave and Ben, you can talk to Jill, whatever you're interested in. All right, reports from, we don't have the liaison. Do you two have anything before I go to the commissioners?
I do not, but Jill does.
Jill?
I do. This is my last meeting with the Park and Rec. My last day is the 14th with the city of North St. Paul. I am moving to another city. And I just wanted to let you know, I have a couple weeks left.
Thanks for your service.
Thank you for everything. Thank you for
Thank you.
everything.
Well done.
Thank you.
Wait, when's your last day?
Well, technically the 15th, but I took it off.
Way to go.
So the 14th is a Thursday.
Wow.
I'm
Jill,
working
it's been a pleasure.
at home.
It's been an honor. It's been a pleasure.
I've had a lot of fun with you guys.
We are fun. We are.
I'm gonna miss you guys.
Thank you for everything.
Thank you.
All right.
That's all right.
How do you lead on that?
Oh, we're going to have to,
Anybody's watching and is interested in working for the city,
What?
the job posting will be posted.
Oh, that guy never showed up on the Zoom, right? Oh, Sudol. All right, let's go to, well, Cassidy's not here. Ben, anything
No.
to report at this point? Oh, the other thing is, if you want to volunteer, pick a park that you want to help with. Some of us have Housie, some of us have Casey, some of us have,
He lives right on Casey. You live on
oh,
Casey.
well, there you go.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and we lost Larry,
That would be a
so,
good,
yeah.
Yep.
Let Jill know. But do it soon.
Yep.
Laura, anything?
There's something, but I forgot, and I'll remember later. So no.
Budget okay, thank you. Whoops. Ingrid?
I have a report on my health and like future meetings that I can attend. Do we want to do that now? Or I'd love to talk to all of you maybe after? Or
After.
would that be a better idea?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so don't leave right away when we.
No, okay.
are off. Okay. All right,
David?
okay,
I'm sorry,
nothing-
go ahead.
Nothing for Silver Lake that I can think of right offhand.
David?
I have nothing to report to begin
Okay.
back
Nope,
here.
that's fine.
But I could volunteer for either Southwood, again, because I live right there, or
Okay.
Northwood. Do you have any?
Oh, we
Just
could
Deb
use
needs to-
Southwood or Northwood because Nancy used to have Northwood. You
Yeah.
want Northwood too?
Yeah.
Okay. Sold. All right, the only thing I got, are we going to budget update every so often as to how our budget's doing? Can we like put that on the agenda for next month? Just to like a quarterly, that'd be March, that'd be about right.
Or maybe twice a year.
Twice a year, okay.
I can't see doing
You don't
it
want
quarterly.
numbers?
We used to
No,
do 'em
okay.
monthly, remember?
Oh, gosh, we're not
Yeah,
gonna, no,
we did them monthly, but
we don't have to do that anymore.
I don't know.
All right, anything else? Motion to adjourn.
I make a motion.
David makes a motion, second.
I'll second that.
Ingrid seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Always wanted to do that.